What's up, everybody? It is Broken Havoc here, right here on the Broken Havoc podcast, here to review SmackDown from September 24th, 2021, coming to us from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Quick note before I get on with the review, if I'm a little quiet, that's because I am filming late at night and I don't want to interrupt a lot of people sleeping. So that's why my voice is a little down for this particular episode, but I haven't reviewed SmackDown, even though I said I was going to upload it on Sunday. It's 11:21 p.m. Sunday night, yes, and the next hour it's about to be Monday morning. I'm actually filming this right after the Extreme Rules pay-per-view, which I saw the pay-per-view, and I'm going to be most likely giving you guys my review this coming Monday. But what are my thoughts on Extreme Rules? I thought it was a pretty good show. I mean, it was not a bad pay-per-view. I mean, I will admit, the WWE product is not great. It's not really that good, but pay-per-view wise, they're not that bad. And the matches on this show were really good. The only problem that I have with the show is that this show was called Extreme Rules, and the only Extreme Rules match that we saw on this show was Roman Reigns versus Finn Balor, in which both actually tore the house down. But yeah, that was that. I'm gonna be talking about Extreme Rules actually tomorrow on my Extreme Rules pay-per-view review, but I'm going to be going with SmackDown right now. Before I get on with the review, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. Not only that, follow me on social media on Instagram and Twitter. So let's get on with the review. So SmackDown is actually coming to us from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Of course, the home of ECW. Yeah, we got a raucous crowd tonight for SmackDown. And the show starts off not with Roman Reigns. The show actually starts off with Becky Lynch, of course, the current reigning and defending SmackDown Women's Champion. So Becky Lynch basically cuts a promo running down Bianca Belair and basically talking about what happened last week. She says that she made something of herself, and she returned at SummerSlam and won the title at record time. No one threw her a party, and that's okay. As the better man, she shook her hand and to say congratulations. Unprovoked, she had to show her dominance by not letting go of her hand. Yeah, real greatness isn't made in the body, it's made in the mind. Great line by Becky Lynch. What choice did she have? She didn't want to embarrass her in front of her hometown, in front of her family and friends. And what choice did she have? She was the better man, and she wanted to give her time. Then, after basically Becky Lynch just runs down Bianca Belair in this opening segment. Who interrupts? The babyface, Bianca Belair. She interrupts this promo, and what happens? Basically, she talks about, she starts to run down Becky and tells Becky to keep her mama and her daddy's name out of her mouth. And she says that she did not beat her at SummerSlam and embarrassed her in front of her hometown. Says at Extreme Rules, she will beat her. And after that, Becky interrupts and continues to run down Bianca Belair. Then Bianca says that when she was away, she was watching her, like main eventing WrestleMania. She did it in a quarter of her time, and she actually won an ESPY for it. Bianca says it's not going to end in 26 seconds like last time at SummerSlam, which I thought was a really terrible booking decision, by the way. Then she says she's going to be the strongest and the fastest and the newest SmackDown Women's Champion at Extreme Rules. Spoiler alert, that did not happen. So Bianca offers her to shake her hand, but then all of a sudden, what happens? Becky Lynch smacks the hell out of Bianca Belair. Then Becky sends Belair to the corner, and then Bianca counters the manhandle slam. Of course, that is Becky's move that led her to the SmackDown Women's Championship at SummerSlam. And she counters that into the KOD, the Kiss of Death, and the segment ends. So, overall thoughts on this segment. I thought that this segment was it was not bad. It was actually, I thought it was a pretty good segment. A lot of people are not keen with the whole new heel character that Becky Lynch is portraying, in which I totally understand, but I'm still going to give it more time. Maybe it can evolve in the future, and if it doesn't work out, then I'll admit I was wrong. It didn't work out, but I'm still, I'm not saying betting on it, but like I'm still, giving it a chance. I'm going to let it pan out and basically see what happens when it comes to Becky Lynch, but hopefully something good comes out of it. But spoiler alert, the match ended in a DQ. We had the return of Sasha Banks. I'll explain more of that in my Extreme Rules pay-per-view review coming up tomorrow. It's going to be a great show. I'm really going to enjoy reviewing Extreme Rules. I thought the pay-per-view was not as bad as people thought it was. The only problem was, I have two problems with the show, actually. The show is called Extreme Rules, and not only that, nobody gave a shit about the pay-per-view. That was the problem with that show. So, we got Rick Boogs shredding Shinsuke Nakamura's theme, and of course, Pat McAfee, of all people, is celebrating. Again, Pat McAfee is one of the best things on WWE television, period. Not only on SmackDown, but on WWE television, period. And we got Shinsuke Nakamura versus Apollo Crews for the Intercontinental Championship. Overall thoughts on this match? This match was pretty good. I really enjoyed the match. Apollo Crews, of course, always phenomenal athlete. Apollo Crews looked great. Shinsuke Nakamura, what can I say about Shinsuke Nakamura? He's one of the best wrestlers in the world. So the match starts. Nakamura's in control. Nakamura runs into the corner. We get a clothesline by Crews and then takes Nakamura to the outside. Once we go to commercial break and we're back from break, Boogs is trying to make the distraction by shredding the guitar. Crews sends Nakamura into the corner. Nakamura then takes out Apollo Crews. We get a couple of kicks by Nakamura, and then we get an enziguri by Nakamura. We get a release German suplex by Nakamura. We get a cover and a near fall. Nakamura goes to the top. He falls into a dropkick by Crews. We get a couple of kicks by Crews. We get multiple rights and lefts by Nakamura. By Crews. Nakamura fights back, and then we get a knee by Nakamura. He goes to the middle rope, and then we get a knee by Nakamura as well. We get a cover and a near fall. Crews counters the Kinshasa into a drop kick. Then Crews proceeds to hit the Samoan drop. We get a cover and a near fall. Crews hits a powerbomb, and then Nakamura hits a spinning heel kick, which looked badass. Then Nakamura tries to go for the Kinshasa, but then Commander Aziz takes Crews to the outside. Yes, Commander Aziz. I am not really that big of a fan of the gimmick, in my opinion. It's just too, for me, it's just too, it's just over the top, in my opinion. For me, it's just too over the top. And we get a kick by Nakamura on Aziz. Boogs then slams him. Nakamura goes for the roll-up. 1, 2, 3, and Nakamura retains the IC title. Overall thoughts on this match? I thought this was a really, really good match. I thought Nakamura looked great. Crews, again, looks great. My only problem with this is how long have these guys been feuding? They've been feuding for a while now, and I feel like it's time to move on from this, in my opinion. I don't know. That's just me, but we'll see what goes on. But I thought the match was great. The match was not bad at all. And hopefully Shinsuke Nakamura moves on from this and faces off with another wrestler because, how long have we been seeing Apollo Crews in the mid-card? He is a mid-card wrestler, but, like, be honest with yourself. He's been feuding with the exact same people. I feel like it's time to move on when it comes to Apollo Crews. I think he should feud with somebody else, in my opinion. All right. So we got the Street Profits in a backstage interview. Now, Dawkins is not here in the show. It's only Montez Ford. And basically, he talks about their match against the Usos at Extreme Rules, in which was a really, really good match. I'm definitely going to be rewatching that match again because there's a couple of spots that I missed. But, that was a really, really good match. Both the Usos and the Street Profits absolutely killed it. But he talks about their match at Extreme Rules and says Dawkins and him will regain the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, and Dawkins will be back at the pay-per-view. Then we get Roman Reigns backstage with Paul Heyman. He asks Heyman, what did this guy say? And Heyman says that they called the Usos Bloodline bitches. Yes, I forgot to mention that in the Montez Ford promo. Montez Ford called the Usos bloodline bitches, which was actually a pretty good line by Montez Ford, I will admit that. But then after that, he says it will be Montez Ford versus Roman Reigns tonight. And then, Roman asks Heyman, why are you still here? A lot of tension going on between Heyman and Reigns. Of course, we all know what's looming behind regarding Brock Lesnar. I mean, there's a lot of shit going on right now between these two, and they're most likely going to be wrestling at the Crown Jewel pay-per-view, of course. That is the next WWE Saudi Arabia show, which I am not looking forward to at all because most of those shows are pretty bad in my opinion. They're just not great, and a lot of people say, and I will agree, it's basically a glorified house show. The Saudi Arabia shows are glorified house shows, and that's that. They're not really as canon to television as a lot of people think they are, but it's really not. But yeah, we got Paul Heyman meeting up with Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville. Heyman tells them to stop with Brock Lesnar and then says that the match with Roman Reigns versus Montez Ford will be here tonight on SmackDown. So the match is official. We got Roman Reigns versus Montez Ford. My first reaction to that match was, yes, give me that match. The reason why I say that is because of the fact that, Montez Ford, and I've stated this in previous SmackDown reviews, I've always loved the work of Montez Ford. Montez Ford is one of the best wrestlers out there today. The style that he wrestles, the way that he wrestles is I've never seen crazy ass athleticism like I've seen with Montez Ford. And the fact that he's given an opportunity to wrestle the top guy on SmackDown is freaking awesome to see. And in my opinion, and I tweeted this out on Friday, this only elevates Montez Ford. And I always look at Montez Ford as a single star in the next couple years. Angelo Dawkins, another one. Angelo Dawkins is great as well. Both the Street Profits have really good promo skills, and I do look at both Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford as single stars. But right now, we got to focus on the Street Profits because the Street Profits are an awesome-ass tag team. In typical WWE fashion, they would tend to break them up. But, in my opinion, I would wait like 5 years before you'd break them up, or hell, even 10, because those guys are that damn good at what they do. But we got Seth Rollins in a backstage segment. Overall thoughts on this segment. This was a fantastic segment, and a lot of people do not like this current gimmick that Seth Rollins is in, but I will admit, Seth Rollins has been cutting some good-ass promos for the last couple months. Dude, this guy has been putting, promo of the year caliber type promos, and I'm being 100% honest, man. The promos that you list, the promos that you hear Seth Rollins cut, are just bar none, balls to the wall, fucking awesome. But he says it's been 7 days since he offered him an ultimatum, of course, last week, which I didn't review, but Seth Rollins basically gave him an ultimatum and basically talked about what happened 2 weeks ago at their match at Madison Square Garden. Says he got no response, and it's okay because the sound of his silence is defining and it reveals the truth. The truth is that he is hurt. That he may be the reason that he may never compete in the ring again. And he says it's not good enough. He wants an answer, and he does not want to wait anymore. He's going to show up on SmackDown next week, and he's going to look at him eye to eye and tell the truth that he is not Edge Light and that he's superior to him in every single way. And he is the man that ended his career. He will not be made a liar, and he will find out where he sleeps, and he will beat the words out of him in front of his wife and children. So that's what Seth Rollins stated in that backstage segment. Overall thoughts on that segment, wow. Seth Rollins legit went crazy in this segment. And, Seth Rollins, this current character is like a psychopath, in my opinion. That's what I feel like what they're going for with Seth Rollins. But I will admit, Seth Rollins cut a really good-ass promo. And he's been cutting good-ass promos for the past, not only few weeks, but the past couple of months. And, this whole feud that he has with Edge, their second, the match that they had at SummerSlam was phenomenal, and the second match that they had in MSG on SmackDown was amazing, and 100% we're going to be getting the blow-off match, and who knows what match it's probably going to be. It's most likely going to be at the Saudi Arabia show, which sucks, but I don't want it to be. I'd rather have that match for Survivor Series, but who knows what can happen. But a lot of people are, what do you think the blow-off match is going to be? My proposition for a blow-off match is it should be either a last man standing match or a Hell in a Cell match, period. But knowing WWE, they're probably not going to be doing Hell in a Cell. So yeah, that was that segment. And yeah, Edge actually tweeted during the show that he's actually going to be showing up on SmackDown this Friday. So that's going to be great to see Edge back. We got Liv Morgan versus Zelina Vega. Carmella comes out. We get a shotgun dropkick by Morgan. We get a second shotgun dropkick by Morgan. So during this match, you had Carmella. So you had Carmella sitting on top of the announce table, and just Pat McAfee, bruh. Pat McAfee is by far one of the best things on SmackDown. He's just like listening to everything that Carmella is saying, and then he basically told Michael Cole, "Oh yeah, you got a mess somewhere here," and then Michael Cole's like, "Wait, what?" And then Pat McAfee's like, "Clean it up." It was the funniest shit ever. But Pat McAfee is amazing at what he does, bro. Again, what I like about Pat McAfee's commentary is that he is legitimately Pat McAfee. WWE does not like feed him lines or anything. They just let Pat McAfee be Pat McAfee. But we get a roll-up by Morgan and a near fall. Then Vega proceeds to work on Morgan. We get a cover and a near fall. Morgan then tries to escape Zelina Vega's submission. Then she sends Vega face first to the middle turnbuckle. My bad, my words got mixed up. Carla then complains to Morgan. Morgan pulls the hair of Zelina Vega. Then Vega gets hit with the code red, or hits the code red. She doesn't get hit with it. She hits the code red on Liv Morgan and wins the match. Really short match, not really as interesting, but it was a pretty short match. Of course, Liv Morgan faced off against Carmella on the kickoff of Extreme Rules, which saw Liv Morgan get the win. But yeah, that was that. We get a segment with Happy Corbin and his new talk show. You guessed it, Happy Talk. Yes, his new show is called Happy Talk. I mean, bruh, what kind of, this is the type of cheesy stuff that I do not like in my wrestling show. I do not like a lot of this cheesy shit that goes on in this show. I'm going to be 100% honest right now. I'm going to be 100% honest. It just makes absolutely no sense why you're calling this show Happy Talk. Baron Corbin, the whole thing that they've been doing with Baron Corbin for the past month or month and a half, when it regards to Baron Corbin basically just having no money and just begging people for money all of a sudden only to get money, and now is just basically being the same Baron Corbin as before. I mean, bruh. Whatever. But he welcomes the crowd to Happy Talk and says being in Philly makes him happy. Life is so good. He starts to whistle and says, "This talk show is different than any other show." Says this show is about happiness and putting smiles on people's faces. Putting smiles on people's faces. I wonder where I heard that before. Yes, that's a typical WWE corporate catchphrase right there. Oh yeah, we put smiles on people's faces. Bro, it's like they're brainwashing human beings with that line. Whatever. He welcomes our very first guest, himself. And he's like, why wouldn't it be him? He's rich. He's good looking. He went on a private jet. He talks about every single thing he had physically. He got a whole Rolex watch, all that stuff. $10,000 suit, which, I'm just over exaggerating the number, but whatever. And then, he talks about everything. He talks about attacking Kevin Owens, and he says it brings him joy that he is so powerful. Then Kevin Owens comes out. He gets attacked by someone in a hoodie, and it's Riddick Moss, which I did not know who he was. I'm going to be honest. I did not know who he was at all. I was like, who the hell is this guy? But he goes on and attacks Kevin Owens, and both chokeslam Owens onto the steel steps. So yeah, that was the segment. Overall thoughts on this segment is I did not care about what Baron Corbin had to say because of the fact that this is just a joke. In my opinion, Kevin Owens deserves better. And, those rumors are running rampant that he may go to AEW and reunite with Adam Cole and the Young Bucks, but who knows what can happen. That's in January. Right now it's September. But, yeah, that was the whole Happy Corbin segment. Overall thoughts on that, I'm just like, okay, whatever. So we get Nikki ASH from Raw, of course, one half of the new Raw Women's Champions, going up against Natalya. The match was not bad. It was really short, but yeah, Nikki went over in this match. Natalya has been losing for the past couple of months. So we get a side headlock takedown by Natalya. We get a kick by Natalya. Takes Nikki to the corner. We get a drop kick by Nikki. We get a cover and a 1 count. Natalya at this point is back in control. Then Natalya takes Nikki to each corner of the ring. Then we get repeated rights by Natalya. We get a couple of elbows by Nikki. And then we get a snap suplex by Natalya. We get a cover and a near fall. Nikki fights back. We get repeated rights by Natalya. Then Tamina is trying to make the distraction. Rhea then attacks her. We get an inside cradle by Nikki ASH. Nikki wins the match. And then all of a sudden, Shotzi Blackheart and Tegan Nox come out with the frickin' tank and shoot it on both Rhea Ripley and Nikki ASH. Yeah, those are your next number one contenders for the Women's Tag Team Championships. And I will admit, I hope, Shotzi and Tegan actually win those tag titles because I'm actually a big fan of Shotzi Blackheart, especially Shotzi Blackheart, bro. She's one of my favorites, and this is coming from someone that didn't watch a lot of NXT, but I saw Shotzi Blackheart, and I was like, Shotzi Blackheart is really good at what she does. And her gimmick is really unique, too. I'm going to be honest. So we get a segment with Naomi. So if you guys remember, last week on SmackDown, Naomi basically threatened Sonya Deville because she didn't have her match, or she didn't have a match at all on the show. And this was actually one of the best segments of the show, in my opinion. She says she came to SmackDown to compete. Says Sonya refused to put her in a match, and she has been fined. She's been disrespected, insulted, and ignored. She wants a match. She's not talking about tomorrow or next week. She wants the match tonight. And then all of a sudden, Sonya Deville comes out, says the match is not happening because she makes the matches. Naomi proposes basically a match between her and Sonya. Sonya says that she will, even if they were wrestling in a match, she would smack her around. Naomi then wants Sonya to make the match. Sonya then cuts her mic audio and then brings out security, and Naomi gets taken out. Wow. This storyline came out of nowhere, but I will admit I am digging this feud because of the fact that, yes, they really weren't doing anything with Naomi, but I have been proposing this for the past few weeks on SmackDown. Bruh, you have to have Naomi join the Bloodline. It only makes sense. Do it. Literally, have Naomi join the Bloodline. It'd be awesome to see, in my opinion. And then, it could make in my opinion, it can make the women's division on SmackDown more interesting. Have Naomi join the Bloodline, but most likely that's not going to be happening. And with the way that they're going on this storyline, it looks like Sonya Deville is really the heel manager. And I don't see Naomi turning heel anytime soon, but I would turn her heel and actually eventually join the Bloodline. But Sonya Deville is the heel of this, and who knows where this is going to go. But I'm not going to lie, I'm actually really enjoying what they're doing with Naomi in this particular case. So we got Roman Reigns and the Usos backstage, and then all of a sudden the Usos face off against the Alpha Academy. So most likely that's probably going to be a match next Friday night on SmackDown. Great. So we got Montez Ford versus Roman Reigns in the main event. overall thoughts on this match, bruh. This match was freaking bonkers. I'm not gonna lie, this match was really good. And again, my apologies if throughout the entire video I have been extremely quiet, mainly because of the fact that, again, I am filming this extremely late at night and I don't want to wake anybody up. But yeah, I mean, overall thoughts on this match. I thought this match was really good. Montez Ford, MVP of the entire thing. Roman Reigns, of course, went over in this match, but rightfully so, because he is the champion and he is the top guy on the brand. But not only on the top, the guy on the top guy on the brand, but the top guy on the entire promotion, on the entire company. So yeah, I mean, both wrestlers tore the house down. The match was really good main event to close SmackDown. So the match starts, both lock up. We get a side headlock by Ford, and then we get a shoulder tackle by Reigns. We get a drop kick by Ford, and then we get a second drop kick by Ford. Reigns is on the outside. We go to commercial break, and once we're back from break, we get a right hand by Reigns. Reigns at this point is in control. He works on Ford in the corner. We get repeated rights by Reigns. Ford then takes Reigns out, but Reigns comes back with a clothesline in the corner. We get a clothesline in the corner of Ford by Reigns. We get a kick by Ford, and then we get a couple of chops by Ford. Then we get a beautiful, and I mean a really good ass enziguri by Montez Ford. Again, the way Montez Ford wrestles, bonkers, man. It's freaking awesome. So he takes Reigns outside. Ford takes Reigns to the barricade. Ford then tries to jump off the announce table, but it breaks. Then Reigns then drops Ford. Then Reigns hits a clothesline. Once we're back from commercial break, Reigns continues to work on Ford. Ford hits an enziguri and then hits a springboard crossbody. Then we get a cover and a near fall. We get a kick by Ford, and then he misses an enziguri. Then we get a drop kick. Then we get a somersault attempt. No, we get a somersault and neck breaker by Ford. Ford goes to the top, but misses. Then Reigns plants him to the mat with a rock bottom. And yes, that looked like a rock bottom. We get a cover and a near fall. Then Reigns sets up the Superman punch. Ford counters it with the DDT. We get a cover and a near fall. Reigns then hits a right hand. Then he drives Reigns to the ring post. We get a running kick on Reigns from the apron. Then he sends him to the steel steps. But Ford goes to the top, and Reigns gets the knees up from the frog splash. Wow, there's a lot of stuff going in this match. I mean, there's hella freaking spots happening. I mean, again, Montez Ford, fucking MVP of this entire match. Then Reigns applies the guillotine, but disappointing finish. Montez Ford taps out to Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns wins this one-on-one match. But then Heyman says that was not enough for his sins, and he says that he will do the same thing that he did to Montez Ford to the Demon, and he will take it. And I loved this fucking line because it's a classic Paul Heyman line. He will take it to the extreme. Of course, a little nod right there to ECW because they are in Philadelphia, so that's awesome to see. Then the Usos come out. They give Reigns a chair, and Reigns hits repeated chair shots on Ford. The Usos then take out the tables. Reigns then hits a rock bottom on Ford through the table. The lights go out. What happens? The Demon comes out and takes out the entire bloodline. Then he hits a crossbody on the bloodline, then hits them with the kendo stick. Yes, repeated shots with a kendo stick onto the bloodline. And then the Demon hits a sling blade. And what happens? We get repeated chair shots on Reigns and the Usos. The Demon then hits the somersault after that on the entire bloodline, and the show ends. Wow. There's a lot of stuff that happened on this show, particularly in this last match and segment. My quick thoughts on the Montez Ford and Roman Reigns match. It was a really good match. I'm going to be honest. It was a really, really good match. Really competitive match and really good match. Both men busted their ass in that match. Not only that, again, Montez Ford, and I keep repeating myself with this, but I'm telling the God's honest truth, Montez Ford is great at what he does. Not only that, bro, I look at Montez Ford as a future main event guy. Like, literally, I just look at this guy and it's like, this guy can be a single star in the near future. And I definitely see that with Montez Ford. But I mean, that's not me saying that they're going to break up the Street Profits, because that's not going to happen, because they're really good right now. I don't see the WWE breaking up the Street Profits anytime soon. Like, the time I'd see them break the Street Profits would be like maybe in 5 to 10 years. That's when I would see them break up the Street Profits. But dude, this whole match was really good, and this match having Montez Ford and Roman Reigns only elevates Montez Ford. But my only gripe with this was the fact that we got less build when it came to the Finn Balor match. And after watching the Finn Balor match recently at Extreme Rules, bro, that match was freaking insane. There's some crazy shit that happened in that match, but I'll go more in depth in that with my Extreme Rules review. But yeah, there was a lot of stuff that happened in this match, and it was a pretty good match in my opinion. But yeah, that was SmackDown. Overall thoughts on this show: I thought this was a pretty good show. I thought not really the best show, but by far the best SmackDown show so far of this entire year, or maybe in the past few weeks, was definitely the MSG show 2 weeks ago. But overall thoughts on SmackDown: I thought SmackDown was not that bad of a show. There were a couple issues with it, but I thought it was not that bad of a show. The main event absolutely killed it. And yeah, that was SmackDown. Please like, subscribe, comment down below, push that bell for notifications. Follow me on social media on Instagram and Twitter. And this is Broken Havoc from the Broken Havoc podcast, signing out.